Jai Shri Radhe. This is day 105 in Varta 83 of Kumbhan Ji. So Vaishnav ko Jai Shri Krishna, Srinath Ji ki Jai Ho, Kumbhan Ji ki Jai Ho. And it's Varta Prasang 4, part 4. Once the king Man Singh conquered many lands in battle and then came to meet the emperor in Agra. He took the emperor's permission to go back home. He thought to himself that it had been many days since he had bathed at Mathura and decided that he should do that before proceeding home. He travelled to Mathura. He bathed at Vishram Ghat. The local priest requested him to go and have the holy sight of Sri Kishori. It was a hot summer's day, but when the priests heard that the king was coming there, they dressed up the Lord in all sorts of fine heavy clothes, shawl, vest and backdrop, headdress and jewellery. They covered him in gold. When he saw this, the king thought, "They have dressed up the Lord because they knew I was coming." He made an offering and left. Then he decided to go to Sri Vrindavan to have the holy sight of the temples there. Hearing that the king was on his way, the temple attendants there also dressed up the Lord in very heavy clothing, vest, scarf and pants with a brocade shawl. They also covered the Lord in gold jewellery. The king went to several of the Vrindavan temples and saw the Lord there and made a few offerings. He was feeling extremely hot, so he went back to his camp. He sat down and considered, "They did all of that just to show off to me." He left Vrindavan in the late afternoon. He arrived at Sri Govardhan. Someone asked him if he would like to go and see Sri Govardhanaji. He decided to do so and came to Jetipura, where they told him that the time for the afternoon service was now over, but that it would soon be time for the curtains to open for the Bhoga period. Man Singh Ji climbed up the mountain. It was very, very hot, and he was suffering as his bare feet were scorched. The door for the Bhoga service were open. The doors for the Bhoga service were open. As Man Singh looked at the Lord, his eyes became cool. In those days, a lot of wealth went into Srinathji's service, but it was summer, and the entire temple had been sprinkled with rose water. The Lord was cooled by a paste of sandalwood and fragrant oils. Many fans were being waved. He was wearing a white turban and lower garment and a pearl necklace on his bare chest, pearl earrings in the shape of flowers, and very, very simple adornments. There were fountains of fragrant water playing. The king felt cool in every pore of his body. He felt that it was only here that the Lord was being properly served, and only here that the Lord was feeling truly happy. That Lord Krishna that I have heard about in the Srimad Bhagavatam is here in Sri Govardhanaji. Today I am truly blessed to have had the chance to have his holy sight. Kumbhan was sitting before the Lord, singing his compositions, describing the Lord, the upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, more beautiful than millions of cupids, who captivates the heart. Pada Rag Nat. My eyes cease to blink as I look at him. As my eyes observe his every limb, my mind gets stuck on that place. What can I say? He has stolen my heart whilst demanding yogurt from me. Kumbhan now discusses with the Sakhis just how to meet him. Ragnat again. O friend, the pupils of my eyes have become his guards that hold safe his form within them. As he approaches my eyes, like those of the Kunjan bird, fly to their very limits. They cannot be stopped. Even my eyelids refuse to close to block their way. Then I am flooded with love, and the memories of those joyous days and nights are deep within my heart. The poet Kumbhan now says, "My beloved young lord, upholder of the Sri Giriraji mountain, has shattered the vessel of my heart whilst searching for what is inside." Rag. Sri Krishna, upholder of the Sri Giriraji mountain, captivated my heart as he approached. I was sitting at home quite happily, but when I saw him I forgot all about my veil. He is an ocean of loveliness, the son of Nanda, and the supreme appreciator of loving mood. Seeing him, my eyes become impatient for more. Kumbhan now describes how he is filled with the nectar of love in his every limb. Part 4 continued. He sang more poems in this mode. The curtain was pulled when it was time for the next offering. The king Man Singh bowed low and then went back to his camp. When it was time for the waving of lights ceremony, just before the Lord's retiring for the night, Kumbhan sang this poem. Rag Kedaro. I offer these lights with my longing for the lad Krishna's lotus face. I decorate the plate for his lovely glances. I offer the wicks of the countless lamps to our meeting. They are soaked in the endless ghee and camphor of my surrender. Conch shells, kettle drums, mridangam, cymbals, hand cymbals and bells all play in many harmonious rhythms. My tongue enjoys the most tasty nectar of singing his beauteous fame, and my body I offer as the whisk that is spun around him. Each of his limbs shines with the brightness of 1,000,000 rising suns and disperses the darkness from the whole world. The poet Kumbhan Das now sings, "When I see the beautiful form of my beloved Sri Krishna, the upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, my eyes pour with tears." Part 4 continued. After completing his day's singing Seva, Kumbhan Das returned home to Jamunawata. Raja Man Singh had already gone back to his camp and there recounted to everyone how beautiful the seva and decoration of Sri Govardhanaji had been. He asked them who the man was whom he had heard singing there in the temple. He sang in such a way that the heart craved to hear more, he said. "I have never ever heard such compositions before." One Brajwasi piped up, "He is a Gaurava Brahmin named Kumbhan Das. He lives off whatever he can glean from his land. You must have heard how the emperor called him to sing and offered him many things, but he accepted nothing. He is a great saintly being." The king said, "It is already night time. We will meet him in the morning." Early next morning, the king walked around Sri Giriraji respectfully, keeping him to his right, and thus came to Paras. He was sitting there. Sri Govardhanaji came there to talk with him. Seeing his lotus face, Kumbhan Das requested him to come close. Srinathji sat down in Kumbhan Das's lap and said, "O Kumbhan Das, I have come to tell you something." As he was saying this, Raja Man Singh arrived here and approached Kumbhan Das. Sri Govardhanaji ran away and hid behind a tree. Kumbhan Das' eyes went with him. He kept staring in that direction. Raja Man Singh respectfully greeted Kumbhan Das and sat down next to him, but Kumbhan Das did not so even much as glance at him. Kumbhan Das had a niece. She used to grind millet flour and bring it from Jamunawata to Kumbhan Das for him to cook. A Vrajwasi told her to go quickly to her uncle because the king was there, and she should accept whatever he was going to give to Kumbhan Das, knowing that Kumbhan Das would not even dream of touching it. She soon arrived at Kumbhan Das's side. She saw that he was staring at the tree and told him that the king had come and that he should at least greet him. Kumbhan Das said, "What can I do if he sat down here? I was talking to the Lord and now he has run away. I don't know if he will speak to me again." Then Srinathji signalled to Kumbhan Das, saying, "I am very pleased with you. Don't worry, I will speak to you again." Kumbhan Das felt a lot better for this. No one knew what he and the Lord were thus conversing. Kumbhan Das asked his niece to bring his seat and his mirror so that he could put on his tilak. His niece replied, "A buffalo calf has eaten your seat and drunk your mirror." Kumbhan Das asked her to make another mirror and bring it to him. The king wondered what on earth they were talking about. How could a calf eat a seat and drink a mirror? But then his niece spread him out a nice seat of grass and brought him some water in a bowl. He sat on the grass and looked at his reflection in the water, in the bowl, to apply his forehead mark. Raja Man Singh thought that Kumbhan Das must be very poor, since he had no proper seat nor even a mirror. Let me see if he is truly the renunciate that they say he is. Raja Man Singh sent one man to bring a bejewelled gold mirror from his home. He put it in front of Kumbhan Das and said that he could now use that to put on his tilak. Kumbhan Das said, "Oh brother, where should I keep such a thing? I live in a thatch-roofed hut. If I keep it here, I may be even killed by one who wishes to steal it, so I really do not want it." Raja Man Singh understood the logic of this and also knew that even if he wanted to sell it, he could not, and so it was not useful to him at all. He thought of giving him enough money to buy supplies for the rest of his life. He placed a purse with 1,000 gold coins before Kumbhan Das, who told the king he had absolutely no use for it. "I have this land and I live off whatever grows here," he said. "I don't need anything else." Raja Man Singh said, "Let me give you the whole village of Jamunawata." Kumbhan Das said, "I am not the type of Brahmin who will accept your charity. Give whatever you want to some other Brahmin. I want nothing from you." The king insisted. "Tell me the name of your grocer where you buy your supplies." Kumbhan Das said to him, "My grocer and I share the same nature. Please tell me, at least," said the king, "so that I can give him the funds." Kumbhan Das pointed out to him 2 trees, one Karila tree and one Bear tree, and said, "See, in the hot season the Karila tree is my grocer. It gives me flowers and tenti berries. In the winter it is the Bear tree which gives me its fruits. In this way all my needs are served." Raja Man Singh praised him. "You are great," he said. "I have met many so-called renunciates, but you are more renounced even though you are a householder. There is none other like you on earth." The king then bowed to Kumbhan Das and requested him to at least give him some instruction. Kumbhan Das said, "Will you truly do whatever I ask of you?" Raja Man Singh said he would regard it as his greatest fortune to follow his command. Kumbhan Das said, "In that case, Please promise to never come back here and never speak to me again." The king bowed to Kumbhan Das and praised him again. He said, "I have seen many so-called devotees who are really just devotees of the material world. You are the only true devotee of the Lord that I have ever met." Having said this, the king left that place. Kumbhan Das's niece asked him, "We have nothing at home. Why did you not accept what the king was offering us?" "You idiot child," Kumbhan Das replied. "Be quiet. If Srinathji hears you, he will be angry and say that Kumbhan Das's niece is a very greedy girl." The niece piped up, "I was only joking. I don't really need anything." Kumbhan Das said, "You should not speak like that, even as a joke." After this, Srinathji came back to sit in Kumbhan Das's lap. He asked him what had happened to him in such a short time and why he was now uneasy. "Tell me." Kumbhan Das replied in verse, Rag Sarang, "Oh, most attractive enchanter, I love you so much. Please never stay away from my sight. Until I live, please let me see you. I fall at your feet. Let my heart never stray elsewhere. I can only be happy when I am thinking of you. Let me tightly embrace you. Amongst those who take succor from the essence of your loving form, you are known as the son of Nanda, who is the divine beloved. Only you can remove my pain of separation. From now on, please take up residence in my home. Otherwise, how may I forever keep your company, O dark and beautiful one?" The poet Kumbhan Das now asks, "If you, upholder of the Sri Giriraji mountain, are not with me, for whose sake will I apply coryllium to my eyes?" So today we conclude here for today, and we'll continue with part 4 tomorrow. So Shri Kumbhan Das Ji ki Jai, Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna, Srinath Ji ki Jai, Jai Giriraj, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.